words. Let us hear about it. Just one, maybe 2 words. For absolutely no other reason. Other than we would just like to know. I know it's the obvious. I know the reason. But I want to hear it in your words. Say the words. There's no reason, no real reason why I'd like to know. I just do. Just 3 simple words. Tell me how it works. Let me help you out. Let me give you a reason to tell me. Because I'd just like to know. I'd just like to hear it in your words. Although I know it's obvious.
Be a hero, buddy. Let this community know that you're a hero, not a monster. Is she alive, Derek, or is she dead? Look at me. Is she alive?
She's not alive.
Okay. That's okay. That's okay. Where is she, buddy? Where is she?
The devil made me turn her into ashes.
Okay. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. It's okay. That's okay. Was it in the bush where you burnt her? Is that where she died?
Yeah, it was in the bush.
How did you kill her?
I choked her.
Okay. Okay.
Just like he choked me.
Did she suffer?
A little bit.
A little bit?
He told me to save myself on my own. He said I had to do some soul searching.
He said killing her would save you?
So he said it's what he did.
How did you choke her?
With his shoelace and his string.
Where'd you get the shoelace?
I don't know where I got it from. I just had it in one of the bags.
Did you cut her before you choked her to death, or did you cut her
I
after?
choked her first.
So she was dead when you cut her?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel terrible. Yeah.
I understand, but you're doing a great job, so you should start to feel better. This should be healing for you. Did you...
Should be. Probably won't be.
No, it
Still
will be.
won't get me to where I want to be.
It's a start, buddy. It's the first day of the rest of your life. What did you cut of hers?
What was that? What did I cut her with?
What did you cut of hers? Like what part of her did you cut? It's just to understand. It's not to
Legs,
judge.
arms,
Tell me about it.
waist.
You cut them off?
I ate a little bit of her heart
You ate a bit of her heart?
to try to strengthen mine.
And how did that make you
I
feel?
drank a bit of her blood to try to strengthen me
And how did that make you feel?
a little bit stronger.
Yeah? Or maybe it gave you the strength to tell the truth today?
It did make me stronger.
It did?
For a bit. Just a little bit.
What did the devil say when... Why did the devil tell you to kill Terry?
The terrible father.
So what did you use to kill Terry?
Used a knife.
A knife?
Yeah.
What kind of knife? Can you describe it, please?
It was just a normal, unserrated knife. It's in the fire pit now.
The same fire pit that you burned her?
Yeah.
Okay.
Didn't burn her alive.
You didn't?
No.
No, you told me you choked her first, right?
Yeah, I choked her first. Went to his side door. I heard a train go past. So I figured that was a good time to check out the house. I had a flashlight on, my mask on. Looked at Terry in the face, smash. And I grabbed him with some rope. I could choke him. Choked him and then cut his throat.
Everything that's in my head and mind, and I couldn't explain it. All the abuse and stuff,
Yeah, it's a common story to hear.
but it's okay.
What kind of abuse? Sexual or physical? Or?
Everything in one. I don't want to tell the truth, but I need to tell the truth.
Who is it, from your dad or from someone else?
It is both. And one more. And I don't know.
So there was sexual abuse at some point?
Mm-hmm.
At what age? Do you remember? Was it ongoing?
Mm-hmm. May I have some can I do some drugs? Please?
Which drug do you want to do?
Can I go get it?
Yeah. You have to go somewhere to get it?
No. You have a pookie pipe?
I don't have a pookie pipe.
That's the only drug I have with me right now.
We'll be done in 5 minutes.
Okay.
Alright, so...
I shitted and pissed myself and turned deaf yesterday and threw up at the same time.
From what?
Someone drugged me, someone did something to me. Or I ate I don't know. But I did everything at once.
Wow.
And I survived it. I'm not trying to lie no more. I'm trying to tell the truth. I'm trying to cover up all the bullshit they put me through here without feeling like I'm a cop. Because I don't want to turn to the other side. or turn to the other side. I just want to do me.
How many years have you been down here on Skid Row?
3,
3 years.
5 years. And SRO 2 years and SRO 3 years on the street, intense.
Okay. And what's your drug that you're using now?
Nothing but everything. In some ways, it depends on the month and the week.
What's your favorite drug right now?
Sherm, I would love to have Sherm because I feel like that's going to help me. And I'm focused and I can do everything perfectly fine with it.
When you use Sherm?
Yes, it makes me powerful, it makes me go, just makes me complete my missions, it makes me feel good, it makes me cover up all my other drug stuff, and it makes me not cry.
Does it help you forget about your pain of your past or anything like that?
Yes, sometimes.
How would you describe your childhood?
It was like, it wasn't bad, but there was like skeletons in the closet, things that I was going through, but I wasn't allowed to go to school and tell, or when the social worker would come, I wasn't allowed to say anything. What happens in this house stays in this house. And
What kind of stuff?
A lot of like sexual abuse and physical abuse. You know, I had nieces and nephews, and I didn't want to see them or see them being taken away from my sister, so I didn't say anything. I wouldn't say anything.
Did your adoptive mom know?
It was pretty much something that was happening behind closed doors as well, and I came to her already touched, so, you know, my birth grandparents had me for a little bit, and they were molesting me, and so she had to deal with that with me, and my brother being touched when he was little.
But your adopted mom didn't step in
And this dude with like chains pull up on me. He was like, "What's up, little mama? Why are you crying?" He was like, "You're too pretty to cry." He was like, "Why are you crying?" And I just said, "Look, can I please use your phone?" He was like, "What happened to yours?" And I had one, but it was turned off. He had turned my phone off. It was like an Obama type phone. And he cut the line off, and I got in the car with him. And he just like was like, "Do you drink? No. Do you smoke? No." And he said, "Okay, well, where are you from?" And I pretty much told him like what happened. And I cut it down to bits and pieces, not really like going into it. And I guess it kind of gave him the idea like, okay, she's out here alone. Nobody knows her. Nobody gives a fuck about her. And we talked a little bit, and he said, "Well, you know, I get money." And I said, "Well, yeah." He said, "So what do you plan on doing with yourself? Like, you know, you were living with your boyfriend. I know that's not doing nothing. I know he got kids." And he pretty much like bashed him for being square, like, and bashed me for laying up and giving my time or my worth to the square that just threw me out to the wolves, pretty much. He said, "You know, you can't just get in anybody's car." But in the midst of that, he was hitting powder. Like, he was hitting powder. And I don't know, something in him snapped because I asked him to drop me back off. He was like, "You just got in my car. You ain't got no money or nothing." Like, he said, "You can't make it up." He said, "You can't make it up by giving me some sex or something." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" He was like, "Some head, something. Like, you ain't got no dough." He was like, "You gotta give me something." And I tried to play it off and try to just jump out the car. And he knew I was trying to get out the car because as soon as I opened the door, he pulled my hair back, socked me in the face. He was like, "Okay, I'm gonna show you what playing with pimping does."
They started messing with me. Cause I remember he got at me one time like, "You're a little bitch. You're not a man, you're a little bitch. You can't." And he fuck around and he called himself spanking me. He did some weird shit, man. I was a little kid, I don't understand it. He's my father. But you don't put your fingers in my ass, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Then I started thinking, the fuck he doing with my sisters, man? That's why I'm gonna kill that man. I want him dead. I want to murder him. I want to stab him while I'm stabbing, stick my fingers in his ass too, like motherfucker, like, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it tore me because he wasn't always a bad man. But at the same time, I tell him, you made me who the fuck I am, man. You know, you made me this hateful, violent person, man. You did this. I used to watch you beat the shit out of my mom just because you'd come home from work. And the plate wouldn't be warm enough or hot enough. You know what I'm saying? That type of shit. But I knew no better when I was a child. I didn't know. And then that day he fucking raped me, because that's what I call it. I don't give a fuck if it was a full sexual weird shit. He stuck his fingers in my ass, man. Called me a bitch. He's my father. I love him.
I remember a lot of stuff. I was molested in elementary. I don't know.
Who did that?
My teacher.
Oh, no.
Middleton Elementary School.
What grade were you?
I believe I was a third grader.
How'd you go in school?
I didn't go to school. I went all the way to high school. No, junior high, 8th grade. But I didn't like school. I didn't want to go to school. That was one of the reasons
You went on your own at what age?
What, 15?
And then after that, I was, my mom, these two guys came to our house and was like, this guy has nowhere to stay. Can he stay with you? And that was the beginning of my childhood rape. I went 4 years of being starved, 4 years of being hit with metal bar, 4 years of being hit with a horsewhip, 4 years of sexual rape, 4 years of being locked in a room, 4 years of being tied to a bed, 4 years of just childhood trauma that can't be taken back, but it's made me who I am today. My mom ended up finding someone she wanted to marry. And with this guy, I just remember he treated me like I was a doll to him, like I was something he could put in the bathtub and shave my legs, get angry and hit me when he wanted. He would do all kinds of nasty sexual play. After I was done with even before school, remember before kindergarten, he'd take me to the gas station and he would pick up magazines of trans women and trans men and show me at that age. And he showed me what my first vibrating dildo was at 5. I remember I walked into school and I was telling other kids what a vibrator was, like a dildo, because I didn't understand why I would get in trouble. And I went in and they said, you can't say that kind of stuff or I'll have to suspend you. But where were the teachers thinking? Why would a kid be saying that? Did they ask any questions? And I remember I went to school one day and I told the teacher, hey, look, I'm being touched, I'm being hit. And they checked my body and they didn't see any bruises. So they had sent me home with the guy that was doing it to me. And that guy ended up telling me, and if I told anybody, that he would take my mom and me, hang me from a tree, cut her open in front of me, and then cut me open, and I would have to watch her bleed.
This was your adopted mom's boyfriend?
Yeah. This was just the beginning.
And this started, the sexual part of it started when you were about 5?
Probably the beginning of 4, 5.
Yeah.
How would you describe your childhood?
Horrible. I don't describe it as a childhood. It was taken from me. So my dad abused me and started.
What kind of stuff went on?
He was sexually abused me in the closet. He made me eat dog food. He killed my cat. I couldn't have an animal because he would kill it. Because I love animals. Like, he would kill my animals, like my rabbits and any little animal that I would get, he would just kill it right in front of me.
And the sexual abuse went on for how long?
Till I was like 13. When I was 13, I got pregnant.
With your father?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I had my son. He's 27 now. And I don't see him. I didn't raise him. He got raised with somebody else, like another family. You know, but I see him as an adult now, but I don't really see him. I don't really know him. You know, my dad got really sick and died. And I was happy because I hated him. And my mom, she's still alive, but I don't even see her either because she let it all happen. You know? And after I had my son, I started doing drugs, like a lot of drugs. Started smoking crack. I started smoking PCP and drinking, and I was just out there. And every boyfriend I would get, they were all abusive. I was like drawn to that, you know. And so, as an adult now, I ended up down here because I was married to a man for 13 years. I got married actually, but he abused me through the whole 13 years. So I finally left him, and I left him 7 years ago, and I ended up living down here.
I was molested on my 11th birthday by my older cousin. Later that night, this happened around morning time, actually, and my grandmother left. At this time, I was living in Stockton on Clay Street, my childhood home. Yeah, it wasn't a home, like, it was a crack house, but anyways. Yeah, I got raped. It was kind of the most terrifying thing that happened to me in my life, but also the most
Formative?
No, that's not the word. The most, like, the best thing, basically.
Oh, really?
I look at it, because that just I re-look at it every night. It's not a day that goes by I don't think about it, because at the end of the day, that's what revolved around everything. That night, ooh, honey, that's the reason. I feel like that's the reason. Me, my deep inside, I feel like if that night would have never happened, I wouldn't be here right now. Honey, I'm 18 years old. I just turned 18. My birthday's 09/02/2002, baby. I have no reason to lie. Everybody, I tell my age, oh, girl, you're not 18, you're not 18, you're not 18. Stop lying. I have no reason to lie. I just act and portray myself as an adult because that's what all I'm known to. And yes, I am a drug user. My drug history started off when I was young. I got addicted to black tar heroin first. I mean, yes, alcohol, you know, that's a regular drug. Everybody is acquitted to drinking alcohol and smoking weed, but nobody really knows the more hardcore drugs like crystal, heroin, and party drugs, as in Molly and LSD. But me, growing up, my drug of choice was crystal. But I didn't want to experience it, but you see my grandma doing it, helping her, you know. I learned to shoot well, not myself, but I had to learn to, you know, because my grandma be too high. She be too high sometimes. So I had to help her sometimes.
Your grandmother?
Mm-hmm. Tie her up and everything. It just, you know.
You were how old?
Around this time, I just started started helping her around 12, 13. But younger than that, I always looked out, put all needles together, you know, make sure everything nice. You know, I was like the second her. Like, when she is not at the part, I'm there to anybody. Because that's how, but at the end of the day, everybody in my family, they look at my grandma as a bad person because truth be told, my grandma was my first pimp.
She was your pimp.
My first pimp. 203 after my 11th birthday, a day after my 11th birthday, September 3rd, 2002. 203, honey, I lived on Clay Street in Stockton, California, 95206, my childhood home. Clay Street, this way. Aurora Street, the back street. I started working Aurora. Aurora was my first, that was my first bag.
At 11 years old?
Yeah.
Tell me your first, you remember your first?
I'm finna tell you. My first trick I ever turned was that at 2:03 next morning. Cause after my rape, I got a track. She came home. Of course, I'm in there trying to clean up everything, but I felt my feeling that I would never tell nobody, but I'm gonna take it to the grave because I believe that's what happened. I feel like she was too high and set me up, set the rape up. I mean, I don't. There's no other way for me to think about it, but I can't train myself to think like that. But that's just a feeling out of my head. Cause who else would have known that I was in that house? And how did they know everything on? But aside from that, my first trick was turned on Aurora Street, and all I can remember from it was the blood still, but the pain was unbearable. When me, 11 years old, my anus is, this was a 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old man. Honey, he went to Edison High School. Edison High School was on Charter Way by Dollar General. At this time, his genital was, larger, like growth. And me, I never done this before, never even played with that or nothing like that, never experienced any pain, like, from the area, except for, that's all I know to use the bathroom, that's it. It hurt. It hurt so bad. Ooh, like, you just don't know, like, how bad it hurt me as a person. Like, it's like getting burnt. It's like getting burnt or somebody's, like, putting imagine you have a big bowel movement that, that hurts, let alone. Imagine somebody sticking a knife in you, and you just have to sit there like, you're fighting, but you just, at sometimes you just give up. Me, at that time, in the beginning, I was giving it all at 11 years old, just thumping, 10 toes. And then he got a hold of me, and then from there I realized it was no more fighting. The reason I screamed so loud, nobody came. And it's kind of weird how me and him was the only one in my home when it was my birthday. This happened on my birthday. And I'm just like, when I walk the streets now and all that, I just think of it. When I have free time, I'm just trying to put my life story back together to where I can make it make sense.
How would you describe your childhood?
Traumatic.
What kind of stuff was going on?
My mom OD'd in front of me and my brother and sister when I was 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And there was a lot of CPS stuff and family drama.
Any abuse?
When I got older, yeah. There was a lot of mental abuse too.
And sexual abuse?
Yeah.
When did that happen?
I was 13, and it was my sister's baby daddy. Yeah. He was in the same room with my sister when it happened. I walked in to get my phone, and that's when it happened.
Wow.
She was asleep.
My dad went to prison, and like a couple weeks before my 13th birthday, my mom started being nice to me, right? Like out of nowhere, and got me strung out using with her. And didn't I know she only did that because she wanted to sell me to men. So.
At what age?
At 12.
12.
I lost my virginity to this dude named Danny Dorr. He was a sexual predator. I didn't find out this till later. But when I had my first date with him when I lost my virginity, I remember, and he's an old man, he was like 60-something, but it hurt, and he was like really rough, and he was like, does it hurt? And he was smiling like, yeah, like it was funny, right? And I got paid $500 for it, but he gave the money to my mother. So when I came out the bedroom after I got out the shower, she's gone. And then 2 days later, she comes home with this dude that was covered in hair. I mean, he was so gross. They called him tiny, but he was like 400 pounds. She said if I wanted to get well, I would do this date with him. So, and I was like, well, let me get well first. She said, no, do the date, and then you'll get well. So she used to like, I didn't know how to hit myself, so I had to depend on her a lot. And then, of course, she would want to fix first and then nod out trying to hit me. It was just all bad with her. But that was the only time she was nice to me, is when I was doing dates for her. Other than that, she basically hated us and didn't make no apologies about doing it. So when I turned 15, my dad got out of prison and found me in a dope house with my mother. And like straight wigged out. He didn't even recognize me. I had all this makeup on. I was 15. Had all this makeup on. He didn't recognize me. He just snatched my mother up because my grandmother told him, yeah, Linda has Chrissy on Dort Highway selling pussy and strung out on heroin.
And tell me how your childhood was.
My childhood was good until I was about 5, when my uncle started molesting me, till I was about 13. And so that's, I think, how I became like okay with being so sexual, you know? Like, the only reason why he stopped is because he had passed away through a car accident. And so, I mean, I don't know how much longer it would have went on, but shortly after that, around 16, I started using drugs. By 17, I was well into like, you know, using heroin. This last time, I mean, I finally got away. Some guy had me in his tent for, I felt like it was 2 weeks. I think it was only like 4 days. But he had me like tied up, fucking just, you know, all crazy shit. Like, the only way I got out was his girlfriend came. Like, I guess she took off. She was pissed. She came, asked who the fuck was in the tent, and I managed to fucking like get away in my fucking like underwear walking down the street. Violated in every which way. Like I you know, thinking I'm gonna go and, you know, just have sex with you and being raped and butt fucked, you know? And it's just like, whoa, you know, but you have to take it because you're already in, and fuck it. If he gives you that money afterwards, just fucking suck it up.
He texted me. It was my first time sneaking out again. I thought, super exciting. Oh my gosh, I'm 13, I'm sneaking out to see a boy. So exciting. I climbed out. We were in our home there was really big. We had many acres, and I had to climb out, go onto logs, get out and everything. I ended up meeting him in his car. We drove. He said he wanted to go to an abandoned church that him and his friends went to drink at. And at that point, I'd been drinking for a while, for about a year. But it wasn't bad. I was drinking, but I wasn't, you know, I was functioning. I was fine. We ended up going to the church, parking outside, and he gave me a drink. The drink was roofied, but I didn't know. It was just, I thought it was alcohol. So we went to the church, and I started feeling wrong right away, just off and unsafe. I remember feeling very just like uncomfortable, just like I want to be home. I want to be just in my covers. I don't want to be here. I don't know where I am. Very weird feeling. Never felt that just uncomfortable weirdness. And then he raped me at the church. I remember parts of it. And I remember him dropping me back at my house, and me going up to my bathroom and just undressing and looking at myself and just seeing bruises. And I had no one to talk to. I didn't tell anyone. I couldn't even tell my parents or my siblings. And I had no friends to tell. So I started using pills.
Was there abuse going on?
From the age, well, I guess from my understanding, like from the time I was like about in diapers until I was about 5 years old, I was like molested by my grandfather. So I guess that's where a lot of the anger stemmed from.
Sure.
Being violent, stuff like that.
That makes sense.
After that, my mom just had a lot of boyfriends in and out. She boyfriends that were abusive, physically. Still a lot more molestation going on, stuff like that.
Wow. And you went on your own at what age?
I actually got emancipated 3 months before I turned 15. I got pregnant at 13 though.
From who?
I have a boyfriend that I had. It was just a boyfriend that I had been dating. Of course, I lied about my age. I looked older than what I was. He was 17, I was 13. Got pregnant at 13. I had my son at 14. I had my son January 21st of, 2002?
Any kind of abuse that you went through as a kid?
Not by my immediate family, no. Only, well, I mean, my mom burned me with cigarettes, if that's what you mean.
I would consider that abuse, yeah.
Oh, okay.
She burned you with cigarettes?
Yes. Yeah, I have scars on my hands from her burning me with cigarettes.
And then like sexual abuse, stuff like that?
Her, one of her boyfriends sexually abused me and my sister. But what's weird is my sister didn't back me up when I finally told my mom. And I thought, I didn't know what to do, you know, like, how do you tell your mom something that happened to both you and your sister, and your sister doesn't back you up, tell you you're a liar in front of your mom when you know it's true? I don't know. My mom believed me though.
That's good. Did you make it through high school?
And we moved up in the world and we moved to Fountain Valley.
Nice.
And I went to private school, Liberty Christian School. Wouldn't know that, huh? And I got molested in 5th grade there. And for the rest of the time till 8th grade there, I had a miserable life because the person that molested me, his children still went to the school, and so did I. My parents weren't going to back down and take me out of the school. They went to the police. He got his own lie detector test. He got away with it. Anyways, the gist of it is this. About 15 years later, they caught him. He was molesting his son, his babysitters, his daughter. But I had to go through all those years of everyone in the school thinking I lied and made it up because they were the rich family of the school.
Oh, it's terrible.
And they did everything for everybody. So from 5th grade till 8th grade, I lived in hell because I didn't get invited to certain things because parents thought I made it up. But boy, later on, I bet they figured that out when they saw it in the paper. Douglas Whitney, yeah, he's the one, he molested me. Yeah, that's when my life changed. I was a happy child. I got perfect grades. I still got perfect grades. But something happened to me after that. Something changed in me.